What is up, XRP community? Welcome back to another video. Thank you for joining me. A lot of stuff to cover. Let's just hop right into it. So the first chart I want to show you is a picture of the US 3-month yield curve mirrored with the US 10-month yield curve. And you see a lot of volatility when this line pumps up vertically. So on a typical price chart, when you see green, that's good. On this chart, when you see green, it's bad, okay? And you can see right now we're at the lowest levels we've been on this inverse yield curve since 1980, all right? This is the 3-month chart. So these periods are not short periods. And everyone's saying in the next Federal Reserve Open Markets Committee meeting, which I believe is May 1st, that they're going to not raise interest rates. And if you look at the history of Federal Reserve interest rate hikes, the big dip comes after the pivot, okay? So I do think there's more downward action here. I think this is just one of the mini metrics showing that. And there's still a lot of potential Bitcoin that could be sold. Really quick, an interesting story here. I'm not going to read some of this just because, I'm on YouTube and don't know what stuff I can talk about. This is a conclusion reached by cryptographers who provided evidence that Satoshi is a former this and this, okay? Essentially, what they link here in this post from Martin Shkreli, the guy who went to jail for the pharmaceutical drug injection, manipulation, whatever. So he put this out last month. The following is the Bitcoin wallet, Hal Finney. This guy is the first receiver of any Bitcoin transaction. He was involved in the project. I think he passed away a few years ago, but not Satoshi. And in the following signature, you can decrypt this signature, and it decrypts to this transaction was made by Paul Leroux to Hal Finney on January 12, 2009. My last video yesterday, I talked a lot about relevant information in regards to this, and just an interesting find that I came across. So let's talk more about this downward sell pressure on Bitcoin, which is ultimately going to affect other cryptos. Really quick, guys, if you need a spot to get crypto, check out Uphold in the video description below. And if you want $41 for free to get some more crypto, sign up with Webull. Deposit 1 penny. You're guaranteed $41 in free stocks. Sell your stocks, close your account, do whatever you want. But don't miss out on this free $41 from Webull. A link in the video description below. So I really like this credible crypto account because there's a lot of BS price charts on crypto Twitter. I mean, any social media, you have a lot of degeneracy and a lot of false information. Credible crypto, some of the better information I've seen on crypto Twitter. And it all goes back to the Grayscale Bitcoin outflows. Grayscale holds 66,000 Bitcoins or more. And until for the past 2, 3, 4 years, those Bitcoins were not redeemable. January 12th, when the ETFs were released, they became redeemable. And this information came out that a lot of this Bitcoin that had been being sold from the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust was actually from Alameda Research and FTX. They say if Grayscale reduced its fees and stopped improperly preventing redemptions, the FTX debtors' shares would be worth at least $500 million, approximately 90% more than the current value of the debtors' shares today. Incredible Crypto's kind of talking about that. He says, so we now know that the net ETF flow has been positive since the launch. ETF flows have been greater than Grayscale Bitcoin outflows. But since we have just learned that 2.2 billion of outflows from Grayscale Bitcoin, nearly 50% of that was from the FTX bankruptcy estate, and now they have no Grayscale Bitcoin left to sell. If this is true, then the most significant selling of Grayscale Bitcoin is over, and ETF inflows should now dwarf Grayscale Bitcoin outflows moving forward. Now, this came out just a few hours ago, so it will be important going forward throughout the week to keep an eye on the Grayscale outflows and the ETF inflows because we could be seeing a changing trend. And this came out about 2 days ago. Ripple president Monica Long made some comments on XRP adoption, kind of stirring a little bit of concern in the community. Her recent interview with Chain Reaction podcast sparked a wave of concern. The interview, which centered on the implications of the U.S. court ruling declaring XRP as a not security, left many in anticipating a clear stance on XRP's adoption post-lawsuit. However, Monica Long's response shielded away from directly acknowledging increased adoption, focusing instead on market trends. So basically the community is seeing her not talk about XRP adoption, and that kind of caused some concerns. Yassin Mubarak, founder of Dizer Capital, shared his apprehensions. He underscored the significance of the question and the implications of not receiving a straightforward yes from Monica Long. Mubarak's concerns stem from the perception that Ripple's efforts alone might not drive XRP adoption and potential price growth. Instead, he believes that use cases and projects developing on the XRP ledger, such as hooks, Evernode, and X-Spectre, could play a crucial role. I talked about this probably in the past week. There's a developer who works on Ethereum, and he said the number one thing that's going to cause XRP to go up in price is people building on the networks, people building on the XRP ledger. Right now, Ethereum is the go-to. I guess you could argue maybe Solana, maybe some of these Ethereum scaling solutions, but Ethereum is the bedrock, the foundation for developers in the blockchain space right now. That's why it's had so much success. And I think over time, right, you can't just get 100 quality projects building on your ledger with the snap of a finger. Over time, as more projects realize the benefits of building on the XRP ledger, there's pretty much no transaction fee. The transaction times are way faster. I think more people will migrate over. Now, Ethereum has had this competitive advantage because it's been working for going on almost 10 years, here in a few years now. And XRP just got smart contracts with Flare this year. Okay, so the focus of XRP is cross-border payments, but in the future, I think the XRP ledger will do a lot more than facilitating in the blockchain space than just cross-border payments. Made this analogy a lot. Think about Amazon in the early days. They just sold books online. Now look at Amazon, diversified as heck, doing so much different stuff. That's how we need to think about Ripple as a company right now. And moving forward, BlackRock has rejected this XRP ETF noise, focusing on Bitcoin for now. I do think it's just a matter of time before we see an XRP ETF. There was a lot of clickbait with that recently, but they're going to let the waters, they're going to let the storm come to a calm, see how this market reacts to a Bitcoin ETF. And I do think in this year, towards the end of 2024, we do see another ETF. And I want to play you guys a clip of this guy on YouTube. His name is Josh Olowisk. He, really smart guy, doesn't get a lot of views on his YouTube channel. I'll link his video below, but super, super quality information. You have these influencers out here that are posting just complete BS, clickbaiting, and getting, 10, 20 times the views of this guy's video. Just goes to show you have to find the quality. It's not always there. But yeah, take a listen. He gives you a really good outline on the current macroeconomic situation.
The FTX estate sold about $1 billion in GBTC. That accounts for 2 days of outflows. I'm guessing they had to sell that over a week or something. And it took a while, right? So one of the 4 sellers out of the equation, which is good news. It's good to know that. It's good to take them off the big board. But the other question people are asking is, okay, who is left? Do we know who's left? No, we don't know who's left. As far as the 4 sellers are concerned, you have the tax advantaged accounts that are clearly getting out of GBTC for anything cheaper. And because it's a cash settlement, every single SAT that gets sold out of GBTC has to hit the market. And you have to ask yourself, what are the order of operations here? Everyone is looking at this completely backwards. If throughout the day, it feels as though somebody is selling a substantial amount, it's probably GBTC. Just assume it's GBTC. Okay. So if by the end of the day, we're down 5% or whatever, probably GBTC. Next step, end of day, what is the reported outflows from GBTC in notional value, dollars amount? Okay. It's going to be probably another 500 million clip today. Then 2 days later, we will see the on-chain flows. The on-chain flows you're seeing today are from last week. Okay. People have this so backwards. They might finally figure it out once this is all done. But the most important thing here is price. I hope that's clear. I hope that's obvious. Anyway, so how much do they have left to sell? Realistically, I don't think they get past 50% in the near term. I think the sweet spot in the near term is probably going to be 20 to 30% of the trust that has quick outflows. But we don't know, right? So look, keep in mind, this could go on for quite some time, and it's probably not going to get drained to zero from launch, but certainly doesn't look super pretty right now as we're fighting at 40K. The good news is the non-GBTC ETFs are slowly growing here, and eventually, over time, will eclipse GBTC. It's only a matter of time. So keep that in mind. Here's the James Butterfield flows report. And shockingly, I say that with great sarcasm, we have a net outflow last week. This is global products. This is all products, including non-Bitcoin products. There was a lot of churn. There's a lot of shuffling of stuff going on right now. Until this slows down, this is all that matters. Obviously, I hope people have figured that out by now. If price is down 5% in a day, it's Grayscale. If at the end of the day we have 500 million in outflows, expect another 500 million tomorrow. If we don't get it, then we can celebrate. Expect price to keep going down until it doesn't. But you clearly see some of this moving its way through the system into the cheaper vehicles. We had outflows from Ethereum, outflows from Solana, inflows into the short Bitcoin ETF, and some inflows into the multi-asset products globally, outflows with United States getting the lion's share of inflows there. One other thing I want to talk about. So Credit Market Report, Jason Shapiro puts these out. This is a paid service. It's based off the positioning data of the CME futures, which is free, but his graphs are paid. Anyway, this is not an advertisement for his service, but he has a free newsletter now as well. And he sent these out yesterday. The TLDR on how to read this is as follows. He likes to side with the commercials and to side against the large and small speculators. So the most bullish positioning he would look for would be a very small yellow bar, very positive red bars, and very negative blue bars. You can see the previous period, last quarter, right? We had commercials flip. He calls that the turn from negative to positive. We had retail actually come off a bit here, and we had large spec get shorter. Okay. This is exactly the type of environment you see based on his 20 plus years of data for all markets that he looks at this stuff for a bullish type of market condition. We're now seeing commercials, the red bar, drop to zero, slightly negative. We're seeing large spec shorts come off a little bit, and then retail. Retail is kind of irrelevant in crypto, in my opinion. Retail's never going to quite go to zero. You can see April, May 2022, the yellow bars here, retail went flat, but retail's still fairly long, large spec still fairly short, but closing, and commercials are on the wrong side. So this is not a favorable condition for bullish market conditions. It just isn't.